Welcome to the first Global Wedding Flower webinar, which today is brought to you by Floriculture International Magazine, AIPH, this is the International Association of Horticultural Producers, and marketing and consulting company Flower Academy Italy. Before we begin, I would like to thank our sponsors, Anthura, Chrysol, Decorum, Doom & Orange, Avalanche Roses, the Italian Association for Flower and Plant Growers and Florists, AFFI, and OZ Export, who have helped make this event possible. My name is Tim Briarcliffe, and I am the Secretary General of AIPH. And today we have with us event planner Patrizia Di Breda and My Plant show organizers Valeria Randazzo and Filippo Facioli. All three are being interviewed live from Tenuta Santa Maria de Gaetano Battani in Italy. In a more traditional online webinar setting, we sample the sentiments of the global wedding flower market with Renier Hasnut from Dutch-based floral wholesaler OZ Export, Jules Lewis Gibson, president of Florists Review Media Group from the USA, and chief editor Simona Poli from wedding magazine White Sposa. Our special guest of honor is the Dutch ambassador to Italy, His Excellency, Mr. Willem van E. And you can find all the information about our guests in the handout section to your right on your screen. Today's event will try to answer questions as to why we should focus on the wedding flowers market, how the pandemic has impacted sales in 2020 and beyond, what's happening now and what our industry can expect for the months to come when the world continues to open its borders again. We will also talk about the wholesaler's role in serving retail florists and event planners worldwide. But last but not least, we will discuss the trends in wedding flowers and how to capitalize on them. First, let me touch on a few technical details. On the right of your screen, you will find an orange arrow, and by clicking, there's a drop down of your dashboard, which allows you to adjust your webcam settings to see what you can, change the view that you see of our event today. Also, feel free to type in questions throughout the session, and we will do our best to answer those during the roundtable at the end of the webinar. If we don't, we will keep a note of them and try and answer them later. The webinar is different to our previous sessions as we've opted this time for a hybrid format, streaming live from the villa in Italy, alternated by interviewing some of our guests live from their office or home. And after each speaker, I will guide you through. So let's first take a tour of this magnificent 17th century estate. And Rene, I think that's the video we have just viewed now, and this provides the fabulous scenery for our live event and the photo shoot for wedding magazine White Sposa. So Rene, is that the video we have seen already, or is that the one we're going to play now? So before we go live to the villa, I would like to welcome our special guest of honor, His Excellency Mr. Willem van E, the Dutch ambassador to Italy. I'm not sure whether the Dutch embassy in Rome is a 17th century residence, but we do know it's nestled in the lush green oasis of Villa Borghese, where we pre-recorded his welcome address. René, please start the welcome video of the ambassador.
Welcome to this webinar on matchmaking between the Dutch horticultural and Italian wedding industry. A perfect example of good cooperation between the Netherlands and Italy. Let me first of all thank the event's organizers, a wonderful initiative. Floriculture International and all its partners and sponsors joined forces to make this event come true. What a wonderful and colorful Italian-Dutch marriage. No better place to celebrate this marriage than the Villa Mosconi Bertani, beautifully decorated with Dutch flowers by floral designer Patrizia Di Braida and her team. And good timing too. Now the wedding industry is getting vitality as the pandemic is getting more or less under control. It is not by chance that we chose this gorgeous setting. It embodies wonderfully the reason why Italy is considered the most desirable wedding destination in the world. Think of the romantic love story between Romeo and Juliet in Verona, or lovely places such as the Amalfi Coast, the charm of the Tuscan hills and its Renaissance towns, the boldness of southern Italy, the spectacular landscapes of the mountains, the magnificent villas, just like the Villa Mosconi Bertani, scattered everywhere in this beautiful country. Let's not forget the excellent wines and the world-famous Italian cuisine. All these ingredients contribute to a beautiful wedding, but only flowers can make it perfect. And it is here where the marriage between Italy and the Netherlands bears fruit. An unsurpassed marriage of the Italian designers, creativity and Dutch flowers. A perfect marriage. I wish you a fruitful webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Van E, for your inspiring words. And so now it's time to turn our attentions to my co-presenter for today's event in Italy, Mr. Charles Landel. Welcome, Charles.
Yes. Thank you. Benvenuti, buongiorno a tutti. Buonasera, good evening. I have to say, as we say in Dutch, I'm a lucky guy. I'm a gelukkige jongen. I'm sitting in this fantastic villa, and I have seen the team of Bloom's Academy work these days, and I have to tell you, it was incredible things they did. So let's be quick and introduce to you Mrs. Patrizia Di Braida, the floral designer, event planner, who is with me today. Let's give her time to give the questions. Hi,
Thank you,
Patrizia.
Charles. It's a pleasure to be. Ilaria is my translator.
Good evening, everyone. I am a professional translator, and today I will assist in this interview Ms. Patrizia Di Braida. The questions were given beforehand, and I will give Patrizia's answers to Charles now in live.
Okay, so our first question, Ilaria. The value of the global wedding market was reported to be over $300 billion in 2019, narrowing this figure down for the floral industry in Italy. What can you tell us about Italian brides, spending in terms of value, flower preferences, volume and budgets?
Well, yes, the global value is actually increasing every day as many people are deciding to get married, and we are ready to welcome them. Also, the budget for flowers and staging in general is increasing, and many brides come to us with a clear idea of what they want for their wedding. So we have to please their desires while also trying to recommend and suggest the best choices of colors and style also to go to with the trend. Also, what's changing right now is the fact that many people are deciding to live out their dream ceremonies outdoors in spectacular locations, just like this villa here. And we in Italy, of course, have the best places to do so because we have many different sceneries and breathtaking sites.
Of course, we are in this beautiful location, but in February 2020, the virus chaos struck and the wedding celebrations nearly came to a complete stop. How did the pandemic actually affect your business, Patricia?
Well, yes, in February 2020, the industry suffered a setback. However, we still managed to celebrate about 10 weddings that summer because we didn't want to stop. We wanted to give out a strong signal. And how did we manage to do so? Well, we decided to invest in professional flower education, try to help people face to face, keep them positive, while also training them to reach a higher level of proficiency in the market so we could all pull ourselves back together. We organized a great number of workshops all over Italy, carrying on, keeping on believing in our creative businesses and our future.
Incredible. It's really impressive what you did. Actually, I have to say the villa is the watch of the creations you made, beautiful flower arrangements. So what can you tell us about the sizes, about the shapes, about the flower origins you used in your displays?
Well, yes, we have created many arrangements for this breathtaking room, which is the Chamber of the Muses. The key of these different structures and arrangement is contrast, as you can see, both in shapes and colors. Regarding shapes, we have in the foreground a very puffy arrangement, while in the background, the two circular structures are more compact. And also the very romantic vibe of the arrangement really matches the incredible frescoes here in the chamber. The colors as well, we have in general very subtle, delicate tones, but with a few accents of bold colors, which is going to be the trend for 2022. Bold colors combined with pastels.
As a matter of fact, I saw in the composition one of the stars of this event. It's the Anthurium extase. I saw it for myself. What makes that flower so special for you?
Well, Anthurium extase comes in incredible hues and colors, and of course it is extremely useful for us because it's extremely durable and it is practical to use all year round.
Well, it's beautiful to present this flower in this occasion. And another quite essential wedding flower is, of course, the avalanche rose. Can you reveal some of the tips for us of this rose?
Yes, avalanche rose is the ultimate rose for brides. Thanks to its elegance and beauty, the fact that the flower is so big and fully opens every time. Also, it is important that it comes in many different colors and hues, so we can change the style from classical to modern.
Well, we are actually here surrounded by a lot of flowers, a lot of Dutch flowers, Italian flowers, and yeah, of course, Italy is also known of being Europe's largest producer. Actually, it has an estimated of 27,000 companies and 60,000 hectares, 30,000 hectares of land. Can you tell me something about the use of Dutch and Italian flowers in your work? How do you mix them, or how do you work with these different countries?
Well, I think that as a floral designer, you have to be able to use all types of flowers if you want to please the desires of even the hardest to please customers. In my experience, I use both Italian and Dutch flowers because I think they both have their own peculiarity. The Italian production, for example, is important for us because it offers us a great variety thanks to the different weather conditions depending on the area. AFI, the association I'm part of, that was born to promote Italian florists and producers, together with Dutch growers just like Decorum, today provided the thousands of flowers we see here today, and that the florists from Bloom's Academy and AFI use to create these beautiful arrangements we have here today.
Well, actually, another question is you highlighted also the importance of the just-in-time delivery. And of course, it's to give something extra. As a florist, you want to be you give something special. So how do you see that? How do you work with that? Giving something special?
Well, yes, of course. It is important when you ask for flour that it is available and that it is provided just in time and in the right amount in the venue whenever the event is. But of course, it's also important to go that extra mile for the customer, like, for example, providing a special flower, just like the one we are presenting here today, the Anturio, because it gives that little thing that gets the wedding to a higher level and makes it really special.
Right. Well, it's impressive, all the flowers we see. It's incredible, all the varieties. And Patricia, I have to thank you for all your insights. And in the run-up of the webinar, you told us also how important it is to keep all these flowers fresh. And that's not easy. So we have now a video, and let's look at the video, how you are doing this to keep all these flowers in a good shape. Hello, I'm together with flower designer Patricia Liebleida. She will explain us now how she keeps her flowers fresh.
Thanks, Charles, to invite me. My translate is Ilaria. I present you. She speaks for me.
Yes, of course. I use Chrysal Professional Glory to preserve flowers without a water reservoir, so I can keep them fresh longer. The product works efficiently and rapidly, so it's perfect to use on wedding elements such as corsages and bouquets. It creates a liquid shield that prevents the deterioration of flowers and enhances the colors and keeps the leaves firm and green. Also, it is eco-friendly as it is water-based and doesn't have any propellant. Moreover, the final result is odorless and stainless. First, you give it a good shake, then you lightly spray it from 25-30 centimeters away. While it transpires, it actually seals the molecular structure of the flower, preventing the evaporation of moisture and keeping the flower fresh. As a florist, you want the flowers to be fully open, beautiful, and boasting beautiful color. So what I do is I put them in Chrysal Professional 3. Chrysal Professional 3 actually simulates the environment of the flower and keeps the flowers fresh and allows them to grow and open fully.
Well, thank you very much, Charles. And I think you got the best of the deal there, being in such an amazing venue there in the villa and such beautiful displays. I'm sure that with those products from Chrysal, the flowers will shine even more brightly at weddings worldwide. So now we're going to move on to our second speaker, a new business manager, Mr. Reiner Hasnot from Dutch-based OZ Export. So Reiner, please join me now if you turn on your camera.
Hi,
Welcome,
Tim.
good to see you. Welcome to the webinar. And I just got a few questions for you. What do you perceive as the biggest challenges in the wedding flowers segment right now?
Well, that's definitely the price and the budget, because we see all around the world that due to gas prices and to a lack of transport space, everything is becoming more and more expensive. So together with our partner, which is mainly the wholesale company and the wedding planner, it's always the challenge for each bridal bouquet to find for the right budget, the right product. And due to the increase of prices, that's definitely a challenge.
Okay. And you told us, you've mentioned previously to us that rose, cut hydrangea, lisianthus, orchids, delphinium make up the top 5 wedding flowers. And in the wedding flowers market segment, you see that local wholesalers purchase their bread and butter products close to home. But new varieties and more rare flowers are more frequently imported from the Netherlands. How do you see the future of Dutch niche type flower production?
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think for a bridal bouquet, we see that every bridal bouquet is unique. So if you get married, you don't want only the mainstream products. I think you want the perfect combination of niche products. So for instance, the products that I have next to me, like a special tulip that is painted, for instance, by a grower such as VIP Roses, that also produces other products. That's typical niche product that people really would like to have in the bouquet, or such a King Protea from South Africa. If you combine such a unique product with a mainstream product like local production, I think that's how you combine strength. And especially Italy, that is not only the perfect location for weddings, but it's also a very good country to produce flowers. I think we definitely believe with our wholesale partners that if you combine local production with import from, for instance, Ecuador and Kenya, with the niche products from the Netherlands, I think you have a very solid combination for the future.
Okay, so there's space for everyone as part of that. Yeah, good. So the global boom in weddings coincides with an unprecedented disruption in global logistics. How do you as an exporter deal with that?
Yeah, I think more and more we learn that partnership and cooperation is important, and especially for weddings, we have to make sure that the risk is as low as possible. So how can we avoid that? That's only by working together and make sure that we have the order as soon as possible. Why? Because if we know the order as soon as possible, for instance, we can also anticipate if something happens, for instance, with an airplane from Ecuador, if there's any delay. If something happens with the products, the local wholesale company in Italy can, for instance, together with our purchase team, find the substitute products. Or what happens if something with the peony order what happens with the peony order? What do we do? If we know it beforehand, so on time, together we can always find a solution. Because at OZ Export, together with our partners in Italy, we have a network all over the world, and together we will always make sure that we find or the right product. And in case something happens, which we always try to avoid, but in case something happens, we will find together a substitute product, locally or in the Netherlands.
Yeah, because for the couple on their wedding day, it matters, doesn't it, to have it just perfect. So you can't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Really. So speaking of operating costs, we all know that floral wholesalers face astronomical shipping rates and all kinds of price hikes in commodities. Every actor within the floral supply chain should be looking at their prices right now. What's the smartest way to do that?
I think this is not only for Italy, but it applies to our entire strategy. At OZ Export, we believe in partnership through our wholesale companies, and there's a reason why we do that. We believe that it's because we are treating flowers, so they're very delicate, and especially for a bridal bouquet. So we always have to guarantee that the supply chain is as optimized as possible. So, for instance, within our premises, we will always make sure that the temperature is controlled. So from the moment it enters our company until it enters the truck, it will have a constant temperature. The same throughout the transport process, and the same throughout the local process in Italy. Together, combining that with local production, also combining local stock. So just in case what happens if you need a little bit more flowers for tomorrow? Holland is too far away, but the local company definitely has it. But also, I think the local advice. So your local wholesale company in Rome knows exactly what is available at that moment. Because what we nowadays see more and more, I also got married a few years ago, and the first thing that my wife said was, okay, I have found this bouquet on Pinterest or on Instagram, I want exactly this. And I directly said, no, it's not possible because it's December, so it's really difficult to find peonies at this point. So together with your wholesaler or together with the export company in the Netherlands, I think it's always important to see, hey, what is the budget, and also what is the month that the wedding is. And for instance, in September or December, everything is possible, but I think together we have to find, okay, for your budget, the peony is possible. And if the wedding is in December, okay, you really want a peony, I understand it, but it's really difficult and complicated to arrange it. So why not find together an eye catcher? For instance, if I see the products that I have next to me, if you want an eye-catching product, why not use such a beauty from South Africa that is supplied by our sister company, Color Legends, under the brand Odilia? I think that's typical for the future of flower business, that we have to combine strengths and together find the perfect bridal bouquet for the right budget and the right timing.
Yeah, that's a really important service. So did you find something instead of the peony for your wedding, or was it happy in the end?
Yeah, fortunately we did. Otherwise I would not have this smile on my face.
Yeah, if you can't sort it out, nobody can, really.
So thanks to my colleague for that.
Well, no two weddings are ever alike. Couples around the world are deciding on their own personal style and asking for customized elements. Do you feel that cultural backgrounds influence the amount of flowers and the way that flowers are used for weddings?
Yeah, definitely. We see that because OZ Export is operational, I think, in over 50 countries. We don't see much difference between countries, but we definitely see that the more richer countries, where the more expensive weddings happen, of course, that has a result on the amount of flowers. So yeah, I think the most important point is the budget of the wedding. So if the budget of a wedding is very high, of course, the amount of flowers is really high. I think there's not a difference between somebody from Saudi Arabia or England. I think the budget is most important, but once the budget is high, you definitely see the more money is available, the more flowers we send to a wedding. And that's very unique, I think, to the Italian scene. I think Italy has it all. I think you have to be blind to not see it, because Italy has not only the cuisine, also the weather, also the local knowledge. It's not hard to find. I think we can say that for every part of Italy, we have a local wholesale company that can help you from A to Z. So it's perfect. So that's why for the Italian market, we see a lot of high-end weddings happening in Italy. And yeah, that's. I think the people do it for a reason.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. And we heard from the villa that they're expecting bold colours to be important for next year. But I wonder, what are your expectations for next year's wedding season?
Well, first of all, we hope a lot of weddings, because a lot of weddings have been postponed. Travel restrictions, are falling apart. Also, the restriction on wedding size. So we definitely expect a lot of weddings. And in terms of the trends, we see the same. We see more and more bold colors. So not only a specific color, but also more bold colors, and the whole wedding is built around it. We also see a trend such as flowers hanging on the ceiling. more and more flowers that are painted, but not only the painted flowers, but also foliage that is painted. So yeah, definitely we look forward to the coming wedding season.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to join us today and speak to us. Thanks to Reinier from Dutch exporter OZ Export. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tim.
Now it's time to go to our next guest, and our next guest is Simona Poli, chief editor of two of Italy's leading wedding magazines. Simona has prepared a comprehensive overview of the Italian wedding market, which our audience can find in the handouts. Remember to look at the little handouts box on the side of the panel, and you can find a review by Simona. Simona, can you join us? Can you put on your camera and join us for the discussion? Hello. It's good to see you and welcome to the webinar.
Thank you. I'm sorry not to be there at the villa with all the team, but I had a cold, so I was forced to stay in Milano today. Thanking to Patrizia, I could follow all the preparation and realization of the setting. And I'm really impressed of the work of the team and the professionalism of all the team and the beautiful flowers. So I'm so happy to see this kind of work. And for me and my magazine, this is, you know, the things we want to have and we want to show to all the public.
Well, thank you, and I feel as well a shame I cannot see it there live, but thankfully we're able to get these good images brought to us here. And even though you are not well, I'm really thankful that you have been able to join us even from your home. So thank you for that today. We appreciate it very much. Right, Simona, your presentation starts by highlighting the 33 billion euro value of the wedding market in 2019. Then the virus struck. How has the pandemic impacted the wedding business?
Yeah, but the pandemic has created a halt in all marriage all over the world. So a lot, I have to say 90% of the marriage was postponed, and they just refixed and partially rescheduled in 2021. But we from the things we know from our clients, the location, florals, and also shops, in 2022, we hope that all the restriction will be removed, and we know that we will have a lot of marriage. So we are quite happy. In Italy, the weddings resume at the end of May. And at the beginning, we had a lot of restriction, because we had distances and number of guests. But then, thanking also to some association born during this pandemic period, they stopped the limitation, and now you can organize an event or a wedding or whatever you want, just presenting the Green Pass. So no limitation, no distances. You can have a wedding with 800 people if you want. And we hope to have a lot.
So it's back full speed. Yeah, good. What can you tell us about the amount of money that Italian couples spend on their wedding, and what portion of that sum goes to the flowers at the wedding, including the bouquets, the boutonnieres, the table pieces, archways, and so on?
I have to say that with my magazines, Wed Sposa and the Real Wedding, we receive a lot of material from real brides, real marriage, real weddings. So we saw all the photos, all the video, and we also receive a lot of material from abroad. So my first figure you will find in my presentation is speaking about the world, what is the value of the wedding in the world. Also because with our Russian magazine, we do an awards every year, and we receive a lot of works. where we can see that wedding in 2000 changed, and the people want to have different taste, different settings. And I think also because the bride and the groom are, living in a very fast period, so they want to respect what are they living during the day, also on their most important day. About the value of the wedding in Italy, in 2019, that is the last value we can compare, because we can't compare 20 and 21. In Italy was was spent 500 million of euro for weddings. Thanking to our contacts, to our clients and partners, we can have an idea of what is the average price spent by a couple to organize their wedding. I have to say that in this last year, the wedding were reduced, so not so much in people coming for a lot of reasons. And I have to say that the starting value for a wedding is 30,000 euro. But this is just for a very, very little wedding. So the bride, the groom, the parents, and few friends. Because if you consider all the expenses you have to organize a wedding, and you put all together, 30,000 is really, very low budget. Then I have to say that from this budget, you can go whatever you want. We don't have a last budget. You can just, I think the average in Italy is 100,000, more or less. And about floral things and floral settings, also, I should say to everybody, but we try to show the best things in the world, and this is all the work they do in the villa will be shown in White Sposa in January. I have to say that you can't spend less than 3,000. 3,000 just for a bouquet, a little, setting in the church or in the municipality, and or just for a symbolic ceremony. I know that people have spent 500,000 in flowers for wedding. So I think our goal has to be to reach these kind of weddings and to work a lot to make wonderful, settings and scenographies.
Okay, so we want more 500,000 euro flowers weddings. Yes. Okay.
Because I will have beautiful photos and video to show in my magazines. So I don't say that the wedding with the 3,000 is not nice. But you know that when you present something in paper, especially, it should be very impressive.
Yeah, you need a lot of flowers for that.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Well, I mean, Italy is known as the world's top destination wedding location. What can you tell us about the economic value of this really important part of the country's economy?
Yeah, in 2019, the budget for this celebration has been 35 million euros, generated by 230,000 people came from all over the world in Italy. So this kind of celebration has stopped completely or almost completely in pandemic time, but we expect to resume them in 2022 because they are starting to reconnect all the flights and all the things, so the people can fly now, and we are expecting a lot of people. I was looking at TTG, that it's the tourism fair they did last week in Rimini, and what they said that all the people is just waiting to travel again and to celebrate because they want, you know, to not to lose the 2 years we stayed at home. So I think the celebrations will be one part of our new life.
And you mentioned that they're coming from all over the world. Is there particular countries or regions where you get most of your weddings, your foreign weddings, coming into Italy from?
Yes, we have to say that until now, USA is still the first country. USA is very big, so it's quite simple, you know. But then we have a lot of people coming from UK, and from 3-5 years, more or less, they started to come a lot of people from Northern Europe. So all countries from the north, they are coming to Italy because they come here to have holidays. They saw the beautiful things they can find in our country. They try the wine, the food, and they say, why we don't, you know, get a wedding in this country. And then I have to say that in the last year, we also start to see weddings with people from Asia. So I know, perhaps you know, we had in Italy 2 or 3 Indian big weddings in the last 2-3 years. And we had a lot of Japanese, and Chinese start to come from China to get wedding in Italy. So I think I'm very, you know, I think it will be a nice year, 2022, but I think it will be also restart to open more and more our doors to foreign people that wants to celebrate something in Italy.
Yeah,
it's not to be a wedding, you can, it can be an elopement, you know, an anniversary, and the flower is always present, so not be a wedding.
That's great, and it sounds like that's a market with a really positive future if it carries on in that way.
I think so.
Opening up Asia as well. Yeah. Italy, typically Italian weddings will be celebrated in a church and as well. So the florist will have a triple job of bouquets for the bride, of decorating the church, decorating the reception wedding venue. Do you think that church wedding celebrations, is that a trend that is growing or just stable or decreasing in Italy?
I have to say that the wedding in church is still the most celebrated in Italy, with more or less the 80% of the ceremony take place with a religious ceremony. Then comes the symbolic rituals or the civil rituals. So I think they will grow just a little bit. And I think the work of the floral designer is fundamental, because they have to be prepared to satisfy the wishes of the couple. And we have to say that with all the information these girls and boys have, with all the, you know, socials, internet, and they can see what's happening in all the world, the floral designer has to be really prepared to make their dream come true, also in theme of flowers and settings. So I was very pleased to see Patrizia that did these 3 different, you know, settings in the villa, in the big salon, and I saw all the other things she did. And I think this is the right way to wait the new couples that will come to Italy to get married.
Oh, good, good. Well, Simona, I really enjoyed speaking with you today and learning more about the Italian wedding market and what a serious business it is for you there in Italy. So thank you very much. Now, Simona and Patrizia have worked hard to organize a fabulous photo shoot, and the results of this are going to be featured in one of the next issues of White Sposa. And the next video that we're going to see is a premiere of the magazine's forthcoming Wedding Flowers special. So, Renee, please start the video. And thanks again to Simona for that interview.
Thank you to you. Bye.
Well, it's really stunning, isn't it? And what a great presentation of flowers that they are creating there for the wedding market in Italy. I'm sure it will be a really special publication when that comes out. So thank you to Simona. But from Lake Garda, we are now crossing the pond to where Jules Lewis Gibson from the Florist Review is ready to update us about what is going on in the American wedding flowers market. So, Jules, please put on your camera and welcome. Hello, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Very good, thank you. It's early here.
It's early for you, yes. Thank you for making that early start, and we really appreciate you joining us. So, Jules, in the run-up to this event, you were exchanging emails with our editor of Floriculture International, Ron, and he tells me that you always end your message by citing Lady Bird Johnson, the former First Lady of the wife, President Johnson, and she was a strong advocate for beautifying the nation's cities and highways, many times repeating her famous words that where flowers bloom, so does hope. So let's kick off with this one then. For 2020 wasn't the wedding industry's favorite year, I know. So what do you think from your perspective in the US has been the biggest challenges for the industry brought on by the pandemic?
Well, I think that florists like retail florists and studio florists, particularly that were heavily focused in the wedding industry, they had to get a little bit more creative. They had to learn to do with less hands, be able to be a little bit more creative in their staff. And I think one of the things that's, kind of unfortunate that that we're kind of a burden put on the front line retail florist is when there's shortages, often the local shops don't pass those costs on to the consumers. And so they tend to kind of take in and consume some of those higher costs, especially here in the wedding season for the fall. There were a lot of products that were 3 times the cost, and it can be difficult to renegotiate when you've had contracts that have been set in place for quite some time. But I think on the positive side, a lot of florists really had to rethink their process and how they do their business. Some florists decided to streamline their wedding division and maybe focus more on just the larger weddings, not do quite as many. And then others, you know, did creative things like doing workshops and get into education to really help their consumers when they were stuck at home. And some of those, you know, ideas have stuck around, and they see it as a really good, viable new addition to their business.
Okay, so that's interesting, because that takes me on to the next question, really. I mean, from a wedding flowers market perspective, what are the things that you hope will not return to normal after COVID? What are the things that you feel we've learned through this process, and that there are things that are different that you want to keep?
Well, I think it's important, you know, there's a discussion of, are you a floral designer or are you an arranger? And is there really a whole lot of space at this right now to just be an arranger, you know, to really being upping the education of the people that work in the shops, that they're really able to really design more rather than just kind of recreating. Having that educational element and really upping the education, I think, is important that we take moving forward.
Okay, good. And if the wedding market was worth 33 million euros in 2019, what portion of that amount makes up the wedding flowers for an American bride's budget? What are they spending on it?
Well, you know, you can't, there's not really a specific. It really is. It's determined on the bride. I think it's important when you're working with your bride to assess their budget, and I think it's always nice to give people the options of threes that we discuss in marketing. You know, kind of the low, middle, and high. When people are given three choices, they tend to choose the middle, and then maybe try and bump up from the middle. And to really try and sell up rather than selling down, you know, really trying to sell up is important. But I think that, you know, I don't think that we're seeing a skimping on the florals. If anything, we're seeing more, because people are limited in sometimes the guest list of who they can invite. So they really want those Instagram pictures to be fabulous. And what better way to make those pictures fabulous is with more flowers rather than less. Is really important.
And what particular things are they spending it on, the flowers? Is it on the bouquets or the decoration, or just all of it?
Well, I think, you know, first and foremost, the bride's bouquet needs to be fabulous. So that needs to be number one, and that's really what the bride wants. She wants a fabulous bouquet. And then to really focus when you're dealing with a limited budget is, where is it going to show? Where is it going to show in the pictures? Where is it going to show for the guests? So the centerpieces at the reception are very important. Altar installations are becoming even more important these days. So really having an impact at the altar, especially if you're going to be doing something outdoors, which is more and more popular. And where you can really make savings is with the bridesmaids bouquets, because, you know, they're only seen for a few minutes and usually tossed to the side after the picture. So that's really where you can see some savings, but certainly we're not going to be skimping on the bride's bouquet.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, in the past, you've told us that couples they're increasingly wanting to break with convention, making their weddings more about their own interests, more distinct to them. Has that had an impact on the way they're using flowers? And have you been able to use flowers to help them achieve that?
Well, we are seeing more theme weddings. You know, that's something that's that has come out to be more popular with millennials doing certain themes that might go with their personal interests. But still, the majority of brides want a traditional day. You know, girls grow up dreaming of this day. They want the big white dress. They want all the bells and whistles. So it's still, you know, by and large, a very traditional theme usually.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And then in our briefings, you told us that, well, in preparing for the webinar, we came across an article by the trend guru Martha Stewart she called it "How to Plan a Wedding with Absolutely No Flowers." And what is the effect of footprints and sustainability and is there a risk in America of flowerless weddings?
Oh, please. What is Martha thinking? Absolutely not. If anything, we've seen a huge increase in floral spending for weddings and every day. across the board. We're just having a problem keeping up over here with the demand. And I think that we're seeing more variety than ever. It's, the variety of flowers that are available throughout the year is really spectacular. And, with regards to the grow buy local trend that's definitely grown over the years, which I think is wonderful. There's room for everybody. There's certainly great to be able to sourcing regionally and locally for what's available, but there's large parts of the world where it's frozen over parts of the year. It doesn't mean we can't have flowers. We can still have beautiful flowers. So I think it's really a combination of the understanding that the floral industry is a global industry. And we can certainly buy local, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be importing and have beautiful flowers when it's just not available nearby.
Okay, sure. And is there interest in greener weddings? And do you think that there's more interest in sustainable flowers? Is this something that florists should be looking to deliver for their customers?
Well, absolutely. I think florists need to connect with some of their regional growers. I think that's a wonderful thing about technology that's really allowed florists to connect with some of their local growers. Certainly the younger, more millennial groups are more concerned with sustainability. And again, it's, there's room for everybody. I think it's important to support your local growers, but there is a limit to how much is available local. It just depends on where you are. If you're in South Dakota in January, you're not going to find a whole lot locally.
Yeah, sure. So I just have one last question for you, something that we've come across, and it might seem a bit strange to the Europeans, but we've heard that in the US, that full service floral departments are opening within supermarkets, and as a viable option for wedding couples. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, I think it's starting a bit. I don't think it's really going to affect the larger wedding industry. I think it's more for the budget bride that maybe wants the $4.95 wedding package that would be trusting more of a supermarket type of wedding package. But you can do a lot for your home at Home Depot. It doesn't mean that you're going to take on renovating your bathroom yourself. There's kind of always the crowd that wants to save money and is looking for a streamlined way to do that. But for most brides, this is the biggest day of her life, and they want the kind of service and the quality that you're just not going to get at a supermarket. And then what happens if you're, the person you're working with the supermarket is off that day, or they quit? It's I would think that would be kind of stressful for most brides to put their wedding day in the hands of somebody at the local Publix.
Yeah, so it's a good job the bride is making the decisions, not the groom. Is that better?
Absolutely. Good. And I think that, there's a lot of, analytics and software out there, like Detail Flower software, which is working with growers and breeders to help streamline the process to where we are able to get a little bit more cost effective and get some of our packages down, and allows wedding florists to streamline their process and order correctly, because that's really, at the end of the day, the most important part about being a wedding florist is ordering well.
Yeah, good. Great. Well, it's really been great to talk to you, Jules. Thank you so much for your early start to join us. It's good to hear that despite some of the trends that are happening, the wedding ceremonies are still unthinkable without flowers, and so so it's really great. So thank you very much for that, Jules. And now we're going to pass back to the villa, back to Charles, back in the villa. Can you join us, Charles?
Okay, we're back in the villa. Hi. First
Welcome
of all, a big thank you to Jules for giving us an excellent update. What's happening in the United States in the wedding market, and yeah, of course, hearing the trend of more sustainable weddings. It's also good to hear that still flowers, also in the US, are unthinkable in a marriage, in the wedding, and of course, also unthinkable is a good wine. Of course, being in Italy, a wine and wedding is of course a must. So I'm very happy to show a next video why also the Amarone wine is one of the most sold wines in Italy for weddings. So let's start this this video. Hello, I'm Charles Lensdorp. I'm in this beautiful wine cellar together with floral designer Patricia Di Braina.
Thank you, Charles. It's a pleasure for me to be here, but my English is not so good. I have Ilaria with me. There is my translator to my English to present this rose fantastic avalanche.
Okay, so I see this beautiful flower arrangement. Can you explain what you created?
Well, we created this amazing flower wall with avalanches rose in different colors and hues that we made it pop with these incredible amaranthus that of course remind of the color of the wine and the grape itself in its shape.
So can you explain why the avalanche rose is such a success in Italy for Italian couples?
Well, the main reason is the fact that we can have it in different shades, hues and colors, and of course this gives us a lot of opportunities. And also the fact that it's a full flower that really blossoms and opens wide open, and this of course reminds of the richness of a wedding.
So avalanche roses from Holland and Italia Amarone wine seems to be a perfect marriage. What do you think?
Yeah, I love the fact that we joined forces with two incredible countries, one famous for its flowers, Holland, and Italy known for their wine. I think this is great because the result of such synergy between two amazing products can only result in something incredible.
What is the Amarone wine and the queen of flowers, the avalanche flowers, really make a wedding unforgettable. We are running a little out of time, so I'm very glad and very happy also that I can present my next guests, Valeria Randazzo and Filippo Faccioli of the My Plant and Garden exhibition, who will be next February. And they host also next year a spectacular also wedding event. And the person, Valeria, of course, I'm very happy that you're here and you can introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Charles. And I thank Flora Carter International and AIPH for giving us the important the opportunity to be a partner of this important webinar. Compliments to Patrizia Di Braida for organization, and I greet the Dutch ambassador. We are back after two years, and we are very positive and motivated. Many companies and many operators from Italy and abroad are happy to return to my plant. There is a lot of enthusiasm in the green community to start again, and Fiera Milano has prepared everything to make the fair a safe place. Fair in Milan are now going very well. well, I'll now let Filippo Faccioli tell you about next my plant.
Okay, yeah, it's good to see you also here, Filippo. Very nice that you're here. Actually, my plant will be next year, the 23 to the 25 of February. What can we expect next year? Can you tell us something more about it?
Yes, with pleasure. Our wedding area will be developed in cooperation with the fashion schools in Milan, with also publishing houses specialized in wedding, of course, and hairstylists coming from United States, and some stylists that will help for the setting. We cannot anticipate anything about trends, but what can we say is that the wedding area will be a box full of surprises.
Great.
And during the last few years, our videos, a picture about the wedding setting has traveled the world, and we must keep doing on this. The last thing is that during the last 2 months, we have published on the Instagram a new magazine called Fiori Tales that is talking about flowers, florists, and I think that it's worth to have a look.
Fantastic, great, great. Yeah, of course, I also have to tell you, to ask you something regarding what the impact was on the COVID regarding events. Can you tell me something? Do you think is going to be the impact of this on the coming years on events?
Yes, we believe that the logic of the event has just disappeared, but not in our case, because the garden industry is very fundamental to meet in person, especially in a very important hubs like Fiera Milano is in Europe. So we are creating in next edition in 2022 a new concept, My Plant Tech, that is a new concept that will involve research, scientific research companies, a operator in this new innovation, and we will try also to involve the florist world on this, trying to introduce them in the new cultivation technologies about the breeders' world or organic nutrients. That these are new novelties during these last 2 years, and we will give also importance to the environment, giving a big eye to the climate changing that is running very, very fast.
Sure. Filippo, I know there is a lot of interest for the show. Can you give us some figures? How's the situation? How many companies are coming? What's going to happen?
Yes, I'm laughing because we are in a positive moment, even if the pandemic give to all of us some big problems, because we have quite almost completely full all our halls. We have more than 700 exhibitors, and we have a long list of new companies that would like to attend. So very probably we will open a new hall. So the 45,000 square meters that we have up now are not enough. We will open the 4th pavilion, a part of it. So we will satisfy the high demand. We hope to have the same number of visitors we had the last edition, that is 20,000 professional visitors. And we are doing our best for have a satisfying exhibition next February.
Great. Well, I know you do a fantastic job, and I cannot wait to come next year, because 2 years, no, my plant was not good. So let's go all to my plant next year. Thank you very much. And yeah, Renee, I know there's a very inspiring my plant video. Maybe you can start the video, and hope to see you next year.
In my dream, all the machines have been disconnected. Time started to wind, and all of my friends had been disaffected. And now I'm searching for trust in a city of rust, a city of vampires. Tonight, Elvis is dead, and everyone is red, and love is a satire. And now I know my heart is a ghost town.
Well, thank you, Charles. Thank you to all of you in the from my plant for the video, the great presentation. And well, today we've really been very fortunate to have such an impressive lineup of speakers who've told us about their experiences in the global wedding flower market, the trends, the most popular products, the impact of COVID has had and will continue to have on this important sector of our global ornamental horticulture industry. Well, the Dutch ambassador, he rightly highlighted how the pandemic impacting the global supply chain has shown us that the wedding sector contributes to the worldwide economy. At the same time, the event planner Patrizia De Breda tells us what the Italian brides are expecting. And thank you to the chief editor, Simona Poli. And we now know much about Italy's as the world's top wedding destination location. While her counterpart in the US, Jules Lewis Gibson, touched on greener weddings and on Americans' supermarket flowers, but also the huge potential and excitement at weddings in the US as well. So we've concluded there is no wedding without flowers, but also there is no wedding without well-oiled logistics, just-in-time delivery, and a good buyer-seller relation between wholesalers, florists, and event planners. That was OZ Exports' Rainer Husnut's key message from today as well. And finally, as the event is wrapping up, and another wedding flowers themed event of the same caliber is waiting for us in Milan at My Plant and Garden. We've heard about that too. So although there's not a lot of time left, I'm pleased that we do have time for some questions, and you can put them in the question box, and our team, Renee, is going to be looking through those. And so I'd like to invite all our speakers and contributors back now into turn on their cameras again, please, if you can all join us again. And Renee will put some of the questions that the audience has been putting up there before I come back to you at the end and conclude. So over to you, Renee.
Yeah, thank you, Tim and everybody. Indeed, some questions came in, and I'm trying my best to direct them to the right person to answer them. Well, maybe first go to Jules. There is some magical dates coming up next year, huh? The 2-2022 and the 22 to 2022. Oh my God, I'm mixing it up. What do you think, Jules, is happening in the US? More people planning their weddings on those dates. Everybody going to Italy. I would also like to hear from Simona what she's expecting in Italy. But first, to you in the US.
Well, I think that that's going to be a popular day. People like those specific numbers. They love to go around for specific numbers. But I would encourage florists to be sure and protect their calendars and charge a premium for that day. And just let brides know that that's, you know, a premium day. Maybe they want to take a deposit before. Maybe they want to charge a surcharge, but to really protect their calendar, because that is going to be a popular day.
All right. And Simona, is that the same in Italy? Do you expect a lot of work on those dates?
Yes, for sure. I think it will be the same. We have all the location almost booked for 2022. So it means that a lot of couples wants to get married. And I think also the foreign people is coming to Italy. So it will be a very busy year.
Yeah, on foreign people, there was another question from the audience. You already mentioned that big Indian weddings took place in Italy. How about intercultural weddings? Do you see that, you know, mixed couples are getting married and that there is more attention for several wedding traditions from different countries, different cultures?
Let's say that we're starting to see something. It's not so usual in Italy. But you know, we are now a multicultural country, so I think it's becoming more usual to have a mixed couple. And I saw some Chinese-Italian wedding, and they respected tradition. So they had a Chinese wedding and an Italian wedding in the same day. So I think it will be can be you know, a new way to celebrate.
Yeah. All right. I hope that Reinier can join us briefly again, because I have one question from the audience. I think it's best for him. Reinier, you, in your interview with Tim, you already mentioned the product line availability. What is expected for next year? If I were to plan my wedding, what do I need to take into account? What availability will probably be limited, or I should take care of or look out for?
Of course, that's a really tough question to answer because that changes rapidly. So I would first of all advise to beforehand discuss with the local wholesalers or with us to see what's the situation. But looking to the current state of affair, I think it's definitely important to consider that the situation in Ecuador is not very easy. There's low production. There's a lot of problems with the logistical part. So yeah, that has a big impact on the entire import flow from Ecuador. So yeah, I think it's very important to see the growing prices, which will definitely have an impact on the flower price. So I think it's really important to, as I've said before, take your time. So make sure that the people let you know with some time in advance what are their plans and what are they looking for. Because some years ago we saw a growing trend that people were waiting as max as possible. But especially with with all the insecurities and the growing prices, and it's really important that if you want to make sure that everything is tipped up at the wedding day, we really take our time, because everybody is working around the clock to make sure everything is as good as possible. But yeah, there are trends that we cannot change as well.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but you say take your time. That is also a very flexible notion right now with the crisis going on. I just mentioned those dates in February. So if I were to organize my wedding on those dates, I'm already too late, I assume. But maybe if I plan 6 or 8 months ahead, then now Ecuador has a problem, but maybe then Colombia has a problem. So how do I, what is time for you?
Well, I think first of all, because we work closely with the wholesale companies around the world, and the wholesale companies work together with the flower shops. They work together with the wedding planners. So normally we never talk about these kind of periods, because we normally, for instance, today is I think it's the second busiest day of the year. Today, I think there are millions of flowers leaving the premises due to the All Saints period. So we normally look shorter ahead, but what I try to say is that normally our entire economy is more and more last minute. But especially for the flower industry, I think it's really important to emphasize that, take your time. So, for instance, a few weeks before, a few months before, and also if you have a design in mind, for instance, share it as soon as possible with the wedding planner, as if you're planning to get married. And if you're a wedding planner, share it as soon as possible with the local wholesaler, or with those at export, or your other export company, so that, because we are always we always know what's going on. And if something is going on, for instance, in Ecuador, we will try as soon as possible to find a substitute product. But yeah, if, for instance, the wedding is tomorrow, and at 6 o'clock you're calling us on a Monday, there's not much we can do. So the sooner we know,
Thank you, Reinier. I have one last question for you, Charles, and Filippo, who's sitting next to you.
Right.
We are in February expecting a very nice MyPlant event, and I heard that they're expanding. Everything is becoming bigger. Many companies interested to be physically present, but during the pandemic, of course, that was not possible. So, how does MyPlant see that virtual alternatives that maybe have been developed in the past 1 or 2 years, will they stick? Will they pay attention to it, or will this be a physical event and no more than that?
Secondo te pensi che magari cambiato è più anche il meeting virtuale, no?
No. As I tried to say before, we believe, especially in the garden industry, that it's very important to meet in person, not only because you can see the product as in every field, but the contact is very important. You have to compare your information with how people is doing in Europe, in South Africa, or in Colombia, in Ecuador. Too many information. For what we know, the webinar or the exhibition on not in presence right now didn't have a positive result. We hope in the future. Personally, I do not believe, but probably I'm wrong. We will see, but I think we need more years to open the mentality to this sector.
Maybe,
Thank you,
maybe Renee, I
Yes.
would like to also to give a comment as well, in the fact that of course we're here now with the beautiful flowers from Holland and from Italy, and also to give a message of collaboration, because we have come from a very difficult situation. But I've seen these florists work here last 3 days, working with Dutch and Italian flowers, and they made this beautiful villa like a fairy tale. And you can only do it and be together and work together. So this is a very strong message, giving also from this location the collaboration between Italy and the Netherlands. And I think also in the show, My Plant and Garden, we also will be there present, and you need to see each other and need to look and to feel the products live. So I think that's very important.
Yes, let me say one last thing. how can you smell the wonderful perfumes of the flowers if you are not in the presence? It's
Oh yes,
difficult on the
we
web.
now all want to be where you are, to be honest. We're all jealous of you three, I think. But thank you, Charles and Filippo and Valeria. That message was very well received. Tim, we go over to you for your final words.
Thanks very much, Renee. And what a time we've had as we've traveled the world looking at the wedding flowers market. You know, there's so many people I need to thank, really, for what they've done to make this such a special event for us. We've been joined by, there was over 600 registrations, I believe, and some will join today, some will watch afterwards, and it's really been a major activity that we've been able to put out around the world. So thank you for joining us today. I'd like to thank all of our speakers today, especially they've taken the time to join, to thank our sponsors, to thank all those models, florists, designers, all those who've helped to make the event successful. And a big thanks to AFI, the Italian Association of Italian Flower Growers and Florists, and the Dutch growers who sent in their quality flowers and Blooms Academy for their beautiful flower installation. I would also like to thank Ron van der Ploeg. You haven't seen him today. He's the editor of FCI magazine, Floriculture International. He's put in a lot of hard work behind the scene in preparing everything for today. So we're very grateful to him. Please subscribe free of charge to FCI and keep up to date with all the industry news. Thank you to Charles Landorp there in the villa. I'm guessing he has a desk like that every day because that's the way he works. And thank you very much to Charles. Thank you to Renee as well for facilitating those questions and making it all work so smoothly today. So thank you. So from where I am in the United Kingdom, I say goodbye. I say arrivederci and thanks for being with us today in such large numbers, more than 40 countries represented today. I'm Tim Briarcliffe and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you and goodbye.